All right, so a little bit of a good news, bad news. I was able to bore it out using a very big bit. I started, smaller than this, of course, and just worked my way up. However, the one that finally did it busted out the bottom here, and so I have to sand that down. I'll probably just use some more Bondo. This bottom piece has been a pain in the butt for me since the get-go, and you can look at my previous video to see why. But I think this will kind of give me an opportunity to clean the rest of this up with more Bondo and kind of smooth this out a little bit. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I may just cover it up or maybe just Bondo it right to the thing. I don't know, but I have a pretty good fair amount here inside to work with, and I would really recommend using these kind of gloves when you're working with this stuff, because particularly when you're having to modify it and sand it down, like there's little splinters. I did get poked a few times, is why I put these gloves back on. But yeah, always eye protection, hand protection when you're doing this kind of stuff. Okay, so the next part deals with attaching the midsection to the bottom. You see we got holes and dowels that'll fit in there. I just did a test run, and it looks like I may luck out and not have to do any sanding or more drilling on the bottom to get these holes larger. Now, I originally installed this before I put this together because if these posts were too tight, I didn't want them to break off or anything, so this is the way I did it. But I'm going to go ahead and wire up the other piece of this. I'll worry about what to do on the bottom later, but I'm going to wire nut these together, and then I will attach the mid piece to the base. We'll see how it goes. Okay, wow, that went together way easier than I thought. Wow, that doesn't look too bad. Right there, of course, that doesn't look too good, but we can fix that. So, all right, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I thought about just super gluing the outside edge, but I didn't want it to show very well, and this came off surprisingly easy. I was very gentle with it, but it came off. But you can see right there, one of the pieces did come out. Actually, a lot of them did. So yeah, that's why I would not recommend taking it off if you don't have to. So I'm going to, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. But I'm going to heat gun it back on. So it's got to go on exactly the same way. Yeah. That's just my luck. Hopefully you won't have this issue. So let's just hot glue it on. All right, so now that's done, I want to test out my wiring. I'm just going to put a bulb in there. Ah, see that? Hot glue came right off. So that is not going to work. But let's check the wiring. There we go. Looking good, but yeah, that hot glue ain't holding nothing in there. We'll figure that out. Okay. See how this does. Just gonna put it right around the edge, all the way around. Be pretty liberal with it too. Not that there's going to be a lot of strain on this anyway, right? Because it looks like it's in there pretty good. The wiring's not going to let it go anywhere, but who knows? Just don't like having loose stuff around. All right, so while we wait for that other piece to dry, I'm going to give it a couple hours. It's just I don't know how super glue reacts with the rubber that's around that thing. So let's just do this one now. And as I showed earlier, it's not really going to fit in there. So, wow. So, okay, so is it going to be easier to sand this down to the right diameter or just drill that out? I'm thinking I'm just going to drill that out. So let's look at a bit. Wow, look at the size of that. And it's pretty close, but this is the one I used on the other piece over there, and it splintered out. So let's just hope it doesn't do that. We'll see what happens. Put that under there so we don't mess up my cover. That went in real fast. Oh boy. Let's do a little test. Yeah, well, there we go. Look at that. It won't take much. It's a good pop sound. All right, well, even if I didn't super glue that, that ain't going nowhere. Very good.